Okay, it's Friday, so let's get this done. As I said before, to prepare you for the next test, which is next Tuesday, by the way. I really want to get all of this out. We are not missing a lot of things. I'm missing the point slop form, so I'm doing this today, like this lesson, and then we are going to do the parallel lines and possibly perpendicular lines. I'm not sure if I'm going to put them together. I also may do another video about the special cases with the vertical line and horizontal line. So maybe 4 more videos to come, but I'm happy that this will be the end. Okay, so point slop form. Just very similar to the slope intercept form, point slop form is another format, like the way you want to represent your answer. And point slop form, as the name implies, you are going to be given a point. So they will definitely have to give you a point to work with, and you also have the slope to work with. Different from slope intercept form. Slope intercept form, you have the slope and you have the intercept. So it depends on the given information, then you select the method you want to use. Okay, so a couple of things I do want to point out about point slop form. Point slop form is actually quite easy to remember. The reason for that is, if you remember the regular slope equation. Slope equation is given by this. Slope equation, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The only thing that is different will be of this y2 and that x2, okay? Because in this scenario, the point slop form actually do not have the second point, because you are only given 1 point, and so you do not have the y2. Alright, and we are going to keep the y and x over there. So long as we keep a pair of the y and x, we are going to get ourselves an equation. So that's the whole idea about point slop form. You have the slope, you have 1 point. Okay. So I just want to show you a couple questions. It's from one of those assignments that I assigned before, and I did great off that, and on the assignment most of you are fine. And so as a review for this chapter, you'll see something like this. So if you are going to run into a lot of questions about slope in the future, it all depends on what kind of information you have, and you pick the proper method. So for example, this is very nice. They actually say, write an equation in point slop form for the line that has the given slope, which is 7, and that contains the given point. So possibly I will do the one on the right hand side. Okay, I'll do question 12, and I'll do question 6. Okay, it's just an example. If you want to, you can do the one on question 11 and 5. Possibly I'll give you the answer on the back. I'll try to do this so that you have some practice. Okay, it may be a little bit difficult to follow through without an example. So slope is 2. The point is going to be 4, 0. So we are going to use our point slop form. I would normally write this down because, I may forget. It's always nice to have something as reference. Y minus y1, x minus x1. Okay, y go on top, x at the bottom, I have the slope. So I'm just going to plug in my numbers. This is, slope is going to be my m. While this point 4, 0, x1, y1. So that's how I gather all those information. So after this, I'm going to plug this in. So m is going to be equal to 2. Y minus y1 is going to be 0. X minus 4. Let's just simplify this a little bit. 2 is equal to y over x minus 4. Now, once you get to this stage, I would say normally I want to make it a little bit nicer looking. I would do a cross multiply. A cross multiply basically means I'm going to fill the denominator for that 2 with a 1. So I'm going to put y over there. Cross multiply means this 1 is going to cross multiply with y. 2 is going to be cross multiply with x minus 2. So that is what we mean by the cross multiply. So after this, I will have, let's put this on the other side. So y is equal to 2 times x minus 4. Alright, so as far as using point slope form, if I see an answer like this, I'll be very happy. I'm not going to be concerned about too much, like if you put that 2 times x minus 4 on the left hand side versus this, at the end, they are the same answer. Okay, I would prefer having the y on the other side though, because I may want to change this into our slope-intercept form, and that will give us the y-intercept. In this point slope form, I do not know my y-intercept just yet. I do have to multiply it out. So this is the first question. The other one, let's do this one. The slope this time is a little bit different. It's going to be negative 1 over 4. So my m is going to be negative 1 over 4 is equal to my y minus a negative 5. So be careful about that. Minus negative 5. I have x minus 7. So I'll get into, let's roll this down a bit. So negative 1 over 4 is equal to y, 2 negative, turns to the plus, x minus 7. Then again, this time we didn't have to fill this 1 because I already have a fraction over there. So the fraction, cross multiply it, I will just change it to red. So I'm going to have that 4 multiplied by this, that negative 1 multiplied by that. So 4 times y plus 5. And when I check your assignment, a lot of you just put down something like negative 1 times x minus 7. It's alright as an answer, but I would normally multiply this in just to make it nicer looking. And while we're at it, we might want to talk about, distribute. Can we distribute this number? So when we distribute, this negative 1 is going to multiply by the x. This negative 1 is going to multiply by that negative 7. So we may want to distribute this to make it nicer looking. So 4y plus 5 is going to be equal to negative x plus 7, and all of this is just making it nicer looking. 7 minus x. Okay. So a slope-intercept form, the application of it is quite simple. The only tricky part is, can you remember the slope-intercept form? Can you remember the point slope form? I'm sorry. The application itself is quite simple. If you cannot remember the point slope form and the question actually asks you have to use this, then we have a problem. So remembering it, just like I said earlier, point slope form is very, very similar to your regular slope equation. The only thing that's different is you do not have those x2, y2. And plugging it in, the cross multiply, you're going to get a statement very similar to this. Okay, the rest of that is, can I make it better looking? If you cannot, just learn how to deal with it. In the long run, you do have to distribute, you do have to make those negative turns to a positive. But as far as the point slope form go, if I can see you completing this, possibly these 3 steps, alright, I'll be more than happy because you at least know how to apply the point slope form. That's all I have for the point slope form. So wait on the parallel lines and the perpendicular lines. Then this chapter is done. I'll be right back.